So let's get to read on all of this from Lieutenant Chris Olivarez of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Chris, the clock is ticking. I'm really intrigued by that tent city going up, the whole 500 people. From what I've read, there have been 1.8 million or so expulsions since Title 42 went into operations. It doesn't seem like that's going to be enough space to be able to handle the deluge that's expected.
Right. Good afternoon, Charles. So what you see right there, of course, what Bill Mallusion just reported on about that soft-sided facility there. And also what it's doing, also, Charles, to take into account is that it's depleting federal resources. So now you have Border Patrol agents that are going to have to staff that facility. And all it's going to mean, Charles, is that it's going to encourage these immigrants to make the journey to continue to come across into the United States because they're going to be processed and essentially released into the United States. So even with Title 42 in place, we've seen all the video that's taking place right there. The mass groups that are coming across, especially there in Eagle Pass, Texas. And that's only less than 1 mile of an area where we're seeing these groups come across every single day. So right now, what we are focusing on as a state is working with our international partners in Mexico so that they can take a more aggressive stance on their side by surging resources to contain and deter those surges, those groups that are coming across the border on the Mexican side.
How confident are you that that will happen?
Well, Charles, you know, ever since Governor Abbott launched, or ever since Governor Abbott initiated those agreements with the governors of Mexico, and we also started those enhanced safety commercial vehicle inspections, we saw what took place at the ports of entry. And we saw that it forced Mexico to surge resources at the border. Now, again, what you're seeing right there, obviously we know that it's not working or they don't have the resources there in place. But right now, with our state leadership within our agency are having consistent conversations with Mexican authorities. And I can tell you right now, this coming week, we will have binational operations throughout the southern border in Del Rio, Laredo, and other areas of interest where we can focus on these increased crossings that are taking place.
So earlier today, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was talking about how the administration is going to deal with all of this. Take a listen, Chris.
Back in September of last year, we started to plan and prepare for the eventual end of the CDC's use of Title 42. And that is, in fact, what we have done. And I am going to go down to McAllen, Texas tomorrow. It's my, I think, 9th or 10th visit to the border and explain to local officials exactly what our plans and preparations involve.
So, Chris, first off, you're going to be seeing Secretary Mayorkas when he goes to McAllen. What exactly do you want to hear from him?
You know, well, Charles, you know, we've been hearing the conversations ever since last year when this crisis took place about having a plan in place. Well, it's one thing to have a plan on paper, but you have to effect that plan, take an aggressive stance, take proactive measures, and focus on what the issues are, and that's border security. If this was the case, we wouldn't have saw what we saw last year with the Haitians in Del Rio. We saw 17,000 plus surge the border all at once. And because what we've been able to do as a state, by providing insurgent resources along the border with National Guard, we've been able to deter any other caravans from making their way to the border. So a question I would have, and also, I mean, I think we should be answered is, when are you going to actually put this plan in place and take a stance, a more aggressive stance in securing the border, protecting the local smaller border communities, providing more resources to Border Patrol so they can focus on what they are primarily good at, and that's securing the border, going after criminals, going after drug smugglers. But right now, that's what needs to be answered right now, Charles, I believe, from the Secretary. And I think as far as we continue moving forward as a state, we're going to continue having these conversations with Mexico. But again, we're having to bear this burden right now because, again, the federal government is not taking any responsibility of what's taking place right now.
Do you plan to see Secretary Mayorkas tomorrow?
I won't be in the Valley, Charles. I'm actually in West Texas right now. I'm actually here going to cover some other elements that are taking place here. A different element that we're seeing here in the West Texas area as far as border security. So I will not be there, but I'm curious to see what's going to take place and what's going to come out of those conversations.
Yeah, you and a whole lot of people, including a lot of Democrats who are actually elected officials down there. Everyone's concerned. Chris, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.